All right. So today we're going to go over nutrition and what repair nutrition means, and we're going to come across some pretty exciting things. When I first started and we started addressing helping people with their health and finding out what's the cause, why is it that things are not working the way they used to, what controls everything in your body, is it breaking down, is it not doing what it needs to do, then what we started doing was addressing that. And sometimes as you're addressing that, you can't just take you can't, sometimes you want to be at 60 miles an hour as soon as you hit the gas pedal, but it takes time to accelerate there. And if your body's functioning has been decreased for a long time, like NYU was just doing studies on people with cancer. And they found out that the amount of, the immune function, you know how if you're going through chemo, the patients, they're always testing immune cells too? Your immune cell function is about 25%, is less than half of what the average person's immune system is. And that's what God put in your body to kill cancer cells and to fight infections. And a lot of times it's being ignored, and what we started doing was start to address things at the root, find out what's going on, how do you get the body doing what it's supposed to be doing the way it was designed by its creator. And as we started doing that, we started seeing some pretty amazing results. And then there's always that percentage where it's like you didn't get the patient to respond the way you wanted to. And so you find out, well, what else can I do? And through the years, it's been a journey. And one of the greatest things that we did, that we started adding to what we're helping people do, is in the meantime, while you're looking to get your body to restore the normal amount of life and vitality, right, the normal functions in your body, get it to go back to normal again, while you're in the process of rebuilding and repairing, what if we can use nutrients to actually support the natural wisdom and function of your cells, so that right now, immediately, you start seeing a change of better function immediately. And whenever someone comes to me and we're in a crisis state already, we usually do that organ and tissue scan quicker and faster and find out what nutrient support your body needs and get you on it right away. Sometimes it's the difference between whether someone gets the results or not. And it's made such a huge difference for me and my family. Like if ever the kids have a fever, or they're going through an illness, what to do, what to provide for them. A lot of times, as we start to grow more aware of what health is and we become more health conscious, we want to avoid giving our kids drugs at every little sniffle. Has anyone here heard about how antibiotics are being overprescribed and overused? You've heard of this, right? What you're doing is making these bunch of superbugs that's making problems worse, but also it desensitizes a person. And I just had someone today tell me they were on antibiotics for so long it almost shut down their kidneys. Was that you, Peter? Right? So these things aren't always the healthiest things. Some of you have seen the nerve scan during the doctor's report. I showed you of Sarah, the little 3-year-old girl. And she was on antibiotics constantly. She was what they called immune paralysis. Her immune system wasn't developing immunity, and the ear infections kept coming back, and this poor little girl was struggling. Now, if you have kids, you know what the ear infection? Is he?
He's not anymore. But
not anymore? That's good. What, since he started coming in?
He was the chronic kid on antibiotics with ear infection after ear infection.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, so his body adapted now. His immune system found a way. And that's the whole point. There's always a way. And the thing is, there's 2 ways to go about taking care of your stuff. Outside in. Your body's giving you a symptom, and that's the point of action. Usually that's the motivator. And your body's giving you a symptom, and you start trying to get rid of that symptom. That's outside in, because we're not trusting why our body's doing this in the first place and getting to the bottom of it. And usually we'll use medicines to suppress the symptom. If you're having symptoms, right, chronic symptoms, or something it used to heal easily, but now this similar type of injury, it's not going away anymore. What does that mean of your body's ability to heal? It's diminished, right? So, but a lot of times we're not addressing that. The system that we're in, right, just is looking just to numb us. We don't really pay attention to the root problem. We just see what we can do to get you out of pain, muscle relaxants, painkillers, stuff like that, which might even make the body more toxic. Not might, Every drug is a toxin, is it not?
Yeah.
So that's why there's a narrow range of what they call the therapeutic range that the doctor puts you in, where he wants a specific desired effect, but not too much that it could kill you. And they're dangerous drugs, right? Do we keep them where kids can play with them? No. They're dangerous. We forget, we desensitize to how dangerous these are. We're using like little poisons in certain amounts to deal with stuff because we're not getting to the root of our issue. And that's how most of us grow up. Well, that's the world that we're in. My mom, my dad growing up, they intuitively, and they had no idea about what's causing health issues and what health really means, true health is, but intuitively they just always knew they wanted to try to avoid medicine as much as they can. When I was little, it was my actual, my pediatrician who taught my mom how to help me with the ear infections. And here's one of the things you can do when they have an ear infection. We took a little olive oil when Olivia had an ear infection. And we took a little cold pressed olive oil and we just warmed it up a tiny bit. Now you have to touch it with your finger and make sure it's not too hot. You understand that, right? You don't put hot, this isn't the Middle Ages. Stop crying, put the oil, So you go ahead, we took the oil and you warm it up a little bit and you feel it till it's a soothing warmth, right? But you don't want to heat it up till it bubbles, that's bad. So the olive oil is so loaded with vitamin E and it has natural healing properties and antioxidants, and what you do is you just take the cotton ball now, you just soak it up and you just hold it over there. Usually we put the baby or the child over our lap, we teach the parents to put the head over your lap. You just pull the air up a little bit, open up the air, and you squeeze that cotton ball, let the drops of oil go in there, and you just swish it around. You just swish it around. And it feels soothing. And then we take a fresh cotton ball, put it over, and a little Band-Aid. And the kids love Band-Aid. Right? And what's that?
They love
Band-Aid, yeah.
They do. And when parents bring the child in, right, or sometimes I'll even go to the house if it's a bad enough issue, you know, we'll make a house visit, and I'll check the atlas. Usually the top bones, that's the one that easily all the stresses and tensions, and they're in pain and they're fighting, and we just find out where it is, and we just help you realign that, and I teach the parents while the child's laying on your lap what part to massage, let the blood start. Remember how some of your adjustments today, it's like the bone was so stuck it couldn't even move? And what did we do? We started to massage it, just gently get the blood flow going into there, like get some life in there, right? And all of a sudden when there was enough life, enough support, so you didn't realize that a lot of times when you come in for adjustment, that area, if it's so stuck and all, it's been deprived of oxygen for how many hours, we don't know. Depends on how often. But as soon as you just get enough blood flow there, enough support, and it starts adapting, now all of a sudden it opens up, it relaxes, and we just check it, and it goes, oh, and it was right in place. It's like perfect. And so when you're talking about that top bone, that's such an important part because that's the brainstem. It controls everything, including the immune system. So we teach the parents how to do that, and then you just massage that area, you just check it every so often, and what do we say? We see the temperature just drop each time. And so no Advil, no Tylenols, because what's happening in it, why does a baby's temperature go up? Who knows?
To fight infection.
To fight infection. Where'd you hear that?
I knew it.
You knew that already. Does everyone here know that? That your body actually fights infection more effectively when your temperature is warmer? Did you know that?
Because it kills stuff, right?
That's right. And also you get more white blood cells, more of your natural immune cells that kill cancer cells. There's more, you know, when that temperature comes up. And usually the first thing we do medically as soon as the temperature's up is suppress it.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we do is we support the body. When my daughter was going through Lyme's disease at 6 years old, I spent over $500 on nutrients. I told you about this stuff, right? Special stuff for Lyme's disease, you know what I mean? And I when I tell this story before, I tell you guys I almost wanted to strangle her to death because she wouldn't take any of it. And she would fight with me. And I'm trying to force her, and I'm just going ahead, and like, come on, you need this. And she's like, and her face was paralyzed on one side, and her eye was bulging out of the side. It was bad. It was deep. It went into the nerve system. I'm like, you need this. And we're fighting. But the more we're fighting, it's tensing up all her nerves, and I know that her body, we need that wisdom flowing through. And if you're just going to keep doing that, forget it. And we found a way to support her and get her body to heal. So it's just so important. But as the kids get a little older, they start learning how to take the nutrients. So when it comes to children, okay, what I found the biggest, easiest way to help them get the right foods and nutrients, good support of, what's it called? Where we have berries, vegetables, and fruits. I mean, I want them to do that. How many servings of fruits and vegetables a day are we supposed to have according to, certain general?
Yeah, 9 to 13.
9 to 13. Come on, nobody's having that. Okay? So, if you want to give your body what it needs, sometimes we say, I'm okay with not doing that. Okay, not everyone changes the oil every 3 months, or every 6,000 miles or whatever, or, whatever. What?
Every 3,000.
Every 3,000. Did I say 6?
Depends on your.
46. Every 3,000. So, but the point is, but if it's starting to have problems and you see, maybe it's time to start. So with the kids though, they always, sometimes it's hard for the kids. So one of the greatest things that we found was Juice Plus, because when it comes to the adults, you take the capsules, but for the kids and for big adults sometimes, it's like gummy bears. It's like gummy bears, and it's all natural, and it gives you the full amount of servings of fruits and vegetables and berries that you're supposed to have. And what they've done is they've actually done studies on these, and they found that there are such huge changes in the way your body's working, and in the circulation, and the health of your blood vessels, and everything, just because you're giving yourself more of the good, natural, proper foods. So, and one more thing, just about the need to supplement or to supply your body with more nutrients than just what you're getting from your diet. I believe it was 1979, the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, put out a 300-page study on how the soils are so depleted of the nutrients from the way they used to be. So what that means is, for example, in our family, we tend to eat more organic. My wife, she always buys organic whenever she can. Some people, my mom, she's just like, I don't believe in that stuff. I don't know what that is, right? But I'm like, Mom, remember what you used to eat growing up? Remember what they call that organic now?
Yes.
That's what I tell her. Because the other stuff, they changed all the genes in it. They changed it. So there's God's natural design, and then the way it was naturally found in Mother Nature, okay? And then there's, let's manipulate the genes and see how we can make it better than Mother Nature, okay? How can we make it better than that supreme intelligence? And we found ways to make it grow faster and do that. And we find out that it absorbs less of the nutrients from the ground, though. Or sometimes they're making it genetically engineered now to have insecticide automatically in it in some of these fruits, and it's crazy. Yeah, yeah. And so that's what you're eating. So it's like, so just to be aware of what's going on. The beautiful thing about life, when you're trusting in life, is that if it was still anointed to grow, no matter how much they mess the genes up, if they mess it up too much, it won't grow. But if it's still growing, if that spirit of life still allows it to nurture it, support it, and let it grow, there's still benefit to gain from it. However, are you getting as much benefit? You see? So a lot of us are nutrient depleted, which is why we do an organ and tissue scan for every person that comes in. It's part of the care plan. We didn't do it yet. We're going to do it. Okay. So it's part of the care plan. So we got to see what's going on here. So what happened was I started studying this. I mean, in school you take all the nutrition classes, and as a licensed physician in New York, I'm also licensed as a nutritionist, and I can go ahead and give nutrition for all different health reasons. A lot of times, if you go to a nutritionist, what they're doing is they're giving nutrition to treat a condition. Oh, like this nutrition is good for Lyme's disease, or this is, right? You don't need to do that. See, let's go back to where we first started. You start off at your symptom. That's the first thing. That's your body's way of letting you know what?
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong, right? Okay. If it's temporary and goes away, maybe nothing's wrong. I mean, everyone has a challenge. Sometimes comes, goes away. No big deal. But if you have a chronic problem and your body keeps letting you know, something's not working right, you need to take a closer look at what's going on inside. Isn't that what we learned here? That's what we do. Now, while you're addressing that, if you're not addressing that, by the way, and you're just relying just on nutrition, if something in your body on the inside, okay, here's a picture of what your body kind of looks like, the part that controls everything. Who knows what controls everything? The brain, the nerves, right? If I even wave my hand like this, my brain had to send signals through. What happens if I cut all the nerves to my liver? Does it stay alive?
No.
Okay, right? If the brain stops sending signals, things die, right? So, and that's why if we see decay and breakdown happening here, that's why, where's that, like, there's life in the blood, right? And it's so stuck and so tight, and we're just nurturing it, massaging it, letting it flow into there. All of a sudden, the brain has the nerves, that's the wisdom, the intelligence, how to build that body up. And you put it together, and it does miracles, makes new healthy liver cells. You can cut half your liver out, and it grows back. So your body has this amazing wisdom. So if you don't address why it's not doing that and get to the bottom of it and find out why your body, why? I've been fine for so many years. Why do I have diabetes now? Why do I have cancer now? That's what I had to do for myself when I was 35. Why did this happen to me? If you don't find out why, then that's a major, major problem. Because you'll never be able to address it. And then it usually progresses. So you can start using nutrition, and it might help you temporarily. But if there's decay or breakdown inside, if the normal function of your body is slowly decreasing, you ever think about that? That when you're having symptoms, something changed, and sometimes we go ahead and say, oh, it's in your genes, or it's your age, or something, and it's like, well, you know, not everybody as they're getting older gets this, and your genes didn't change, so something else changed. And the doctor's not really helping you find out what that is, but something definitely changed. You ever think about what that might be? I mean, if you want to heal and you want to save your life, if things are shutting down, organs are shutting down, if your immune system's shutting down, now there's cancer going, don't you need to find out what that is? That could save your life. If you can correct it, it would save your life. So that's what we start doing. But a lot of times, if you're already in a crisis state and there's things growing out of control in your body, and it's like, well, let's get you some of the nutrient support right away. And we do the organs and tissue scans to see where your body's weak, what it needs support. By the way, any nutrition we talk about today, if you order it today, we have a list in the back that Debbie's doing. She's actually, anything I mention, she's just writing it down and putting a box there. She's going to make photocopies. And anyone who orders nutrition today, you get an extra 15% off, okay? So anyway, the point is that we need to check out these nutrients, okay? The nutrients help you, but if you're not addressing the root cause, then even if you get temporary benefit, it works well. It's kind of like when people are tired all the time. You ever see people get tired all the time? And so sometimes you can get like a good bee pollen, right? Or something, you know, it has propolis in it, it has a lot of B vitamins in it. Now, a lot of times that would give you more energy. Because who here took biology ever? There you go. So you don't have to know the details, but you ever hear of the citric acid cycle? How the body makes ATP, cellular energy? You've heard of it, no? The citric acid cycle, the TCA cycle. And anyway, the point is that the B vitamins are the cofactors involved in the reactions. So your body can get energy. And a lot of times, you know, there's a theory going on, and it works really well when you start supporting the body. Like where, when someone doesn't know, when they don't know what's wrong with someone, and they're tired everywhere, and they start to be achy everywhere, what do we diagnose them with? What is it? What do the doctors do? It's fibromyalgia, right? So there's a relationship between chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and what's that? And rheumatoid, and rheumatoid arthritis. Those three things. There's a theory that they're a progression. I'm not going to talk to you about the theory. I'm going to talk to you about what we do know, and you decide for yourself what's going on, what we know for certain. Okay? So when you have chronic fatigue, it means your body's tired all the time, not enough energy. Okay? So you have these little mitochondria inside your cells always making all this cellular ATP, this cycle that's going on there, and the B vitamins are needed. All right? So what happens is when people are under chronic stress all the time, who here is under stress? Who here has stress? Raise your hand. You got it? Now, you don't want to blame everything on stress. The truth is that stress is not the issue that's calling. I know your doctor may say, oh, your stress is killing you. Stress is killing you, Mary. You know, you got to do this. That's why you're on this blood pressure medicine now, and that's why. But it's not distress. You're always going to be. See, if that higher intelligence is meant to have us grow, it's always going to be asking us to do something that's beyond our capabilities, so we have to lean on that intelligence. And you grow as a person, and you accomplish things that you could have never accomplished on your own, and you're like, wow, that's an amazing life. The problem is that we're so conditioned, as soon as we have a challenge in life that's beyond our capability, instead of making time, meditate on it, just like your health issues. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's see what's going on, what's involved. Let inspiration guide you. Ever to get to the. Let me preach this way. If we cared about everything as much as our money, your whole life would be better in every way. Like, imagine if your accounts were leaking money. Is there any way you would mask it? Is there any way? No, you'd get to the bottom of it. Come on, you know. You would stop. Hold all your horses. Stop the presses. Stop everything. What's going on? $5 was missing from my wallet. God forbid it was $20,000 from your account. You know what I'm talking about? It's like that's one of the blessings that the world has provided for us. It's taught us how to be responsible and take care of something. Now you just got to use it as an anchor and apply it to your other areas of life, which are, you know, at least your health. That's a spiritual thing. That's that wisdom being expressed through you. It's like, let's get to the bottom of it. If you're already at a point where organs are failing, it's like you're getting in the game late. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can save your life. Because in medicine, even if you go ahead and you do the poisons, the chemo, the surgeries, the treatments, it's never really addressing why did this happen in the first place. And a lot of times the problem comes up or progresses, most of the time. So that's a problem. So anyway, so that's why it's so important to get to the root of it. So you're asked we always have challenges that may be a little bit bigger than what we feel capable of doing. We call it stress. I've done stress workshops, and we go ahead at the beginning of the workshop. Jim, were you at the stress workshop?
No, not this last one.
So were you at the stress workshop?
No, I think I was.
You were at the stress workshop? Do you remember when I asked everyone what do they think of when they think of stress? And do you remember the kind of things that they listed?
No.
Okay, it was everything. They was talking about my spouse, my job, my bills, my car, the DMV line, you know, whatever it is. They started listing. I said, what else stresses you? What else do you think going in? They listed everything. I said, what a cop-out. You just listed everything in life. My health, my family's health, they listed everything. I said, do you see that? If that's your point of view of life, that life is stress, I said, you're going to keep having tension always building up. That has to change if that's how you feel about life. That's stress, okay? We're called to do something. We have challenges that may be bigger than what we would feel we can do. But what you have inside you is bigger than anything that the world can throw at you.
Right.
But sometimes it takes a little time in prayer, meditation. Take some time. Look at what's going on. That's what we do with our patients. We take time to say, well, let's sit with you and see what's going on. Help me. Tell me what's going on, what you know so far. And we help you get to the bottom of it. Get a real answer. Instead of going, oh, it just runs in the family, or something worse. So anyway, let's get to the nutrition stuff. Ready? So let's just say your body's been breaking down, and you want to boost your immune system. Like if someone had cancer, I put them on it all the time. Okay? Now, here's the key. Not just that. My dad loves it. My dad used to always take antibiotics. Now, whenever he even feels a cold coming up, he takes this immune boosting protocol. He has it all set up on his little shelf here. And he goes ahead and he takes it, and it's knocked out before it ever even turns into anything, 80% of the time. And the other 20% of the time when it actually comes up, it's gone within a couple days. It's pretty amazing. I see you nodding your head. You're used to. So some of you guys know the stuff and know what we do, and we're here just to share that with everyone, okay? So here's the deal. Ready? When it comes to your immune system, who knows what the #1 vitamin for your immune system is?
C.
Right, I hear C. What else do I hear? Yes?
Vitamin A and zinc.
A and zinc. What else?
D.
D3 especially, right? What else? You know, D, they just did studies on D, and I was listening to, you know, my staff and I, we were listening to, so we're always looking at new studies and everything, and I just listened to benefit after benefit after benefit after benefit after benefit of vitamin D, and I'm like, I need to take more of this. You know, when I had cancer, and they checked I was hemorrhaging internally for years, actually, before they found anything, and they always told me I was healthy and fine because I never got the right checkup. And then when they told me I had cancer, and the tumors were like the size of grapefruits, large grapefruits, they said this doesn't happen overnight. And I'm like, so at what point were you going to let me know? It would have been nice to catch it earlier, right? You know what I mean? So that's why we do the tests that we do. It's a major problem for people who don't get those tests. So they gotta wait until it shows up in the blood. And so, see, when your body's sick and breaking down, your blood doesn't get diseased first because your blood's so important. That's what's giving life to the rest of your body. Your body breaks down significantly, at least 40%, before it even shows up in blood tests. Now the blood is sick too, and then what do? We'll poison the blood, we'll thin the blood, we'll take more drugs we'll start, you get it? It's just not the right approach. Not if you want to live your full life. So your immune system, number one vitamin, I know that we used to hear C all the time growing up. It's so important in so many ways. But if you have a cold, where you really want to, one of the greatest tissues for your immune system is your intestines, the inner lining. It helps protect you. It's like your skin on the outside, well, it's your skin on the inside. And there's a vitamin that's responsible for the turnover of new, healthy epithelial tissue. That's the kind of tissue that you find in the skin, or your sinuses, or the lining of your throat, or your intestines. And when usually your body's ability to replace those cells with new cells, it's being underused. And when you take the natural vitamin A, not beta-carotene, by the way. If you go to the vitamin shop or the vitamin store or wherever you go, you'll find them, sometimes they say, oh, it's the same thing. It's not. Beta-carotene has to be broken down, right, by bile, so from the gallbladder, into vitamin A. And all the studies they show on vitamin A toxicity and stuff, which, by the way, as soon as they stop giving it, it goes away. So it's nothing to be afraid of. But all those studies are always done with beta-carotene. And the thing is, it has to build up, and it can be toxic, and you get fatty liver. But you go ahead and you get natural vitamin A from fish liver oil.
What's it called?
A.
No, I know that. What was the fancy other word you said?
Natural vitamin A from fish liver
Oh,
oil.
fish liver oil.
Okay? Yeah, by the way, does the brand matter?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why I stay away from certain companies that don't have pharmaceutical grade products, because the amount of impurities in there is higher. So I tend to stay away from certain things. However, like Vitamin Shop has some both, some that are pharmaceutical grade, some that are not. This stuff we carry here is only going to be pharmaceutical grade. As a matter of fact, anything you get from NutriWest, they set the standards for the USP standards on their ingredients and everything that they do, and the testing that they do. They have an independent person come in and constantly test them and check them, and they set the standard for that. So anyway, it does matter what kind you get. So if you're not sure what something is, just ask them, is this pharmaceutical grade? Find out what it is. You have companies like Bioenergetics is good, Now is a good vitamin company. There's Pure Encapsulations, it doesn't matter which one you use. Standard Process, NutriWest.
How about Puritan Pride?
Puritan Pride, I'm not sure. You can just call them up and check. Find out if it's...
They're a big one.
Yeah, there's a lot of big companies that aren't pharmaceutical grade. So you would have to, if I were you, I'd call up and check. I'm not going to make up, and I don't know the answer to your question. So that would be something we'd have to check.
Does it say on the bottom?
Usually not. You got to call them up and ask them. And if it's the person that you're speaking to, if it doesn't sound like they feel confident or honored, you just go ahead and ask again, someone else. Now, come on, we've been in situations where people have just said stuff, and it's like, I don't know if this person, it's like asking for directions. Sometimes I ask for directions and someone's like, yeah, I'll tell you which way to go, but then they sounded unsure.
Yep.
You know I was going to ask another
Yep.
person before I just start going in that direction. Same thing. You follow?
Yep.
So especially when your health's important to you, you want to give yourself the best stuff and do the least amount of stuff, right? Impurities. Okay? So here's the thing. Vitamin A, miracle worker. Natural vitamin A from fish liver oil from a good pharmaceutical company, okay? A pharmaceutical grade company. All right? So natural vitamin A. So here's your immune boosting. So let's just say you want to boost your immune system. Can everyone see this? Immune system. So you have vitamin A. I'm going to write it down here. Vitamin A. And I'm going to have to erase this when I do, if I don't have room for everything. So if you want it, write it down, okay? Or take a picture with your cell phone once I write it down. We'll let you do that. So vitamin A, okay? Immune boosting protocol. So it's going to be 100,000 IUs, okay? With dinner. Okay? So the vitamin A, you know, if you look at the normal amounts, it's not the same. That's way over the RDA level. By the way, let's talk about that. What is the RDA?
Recommended daily allowance.
Recommended daily allowance. What is it based on? If you don't have, so let's just say here, watch this. It's a recommended daily allowance, right? Here's how our system works, ready? So here, why do we take nutrients? Does your body use these nutrients to function?
Yes.
So here's zero function or death. Here, is this falling?
Yep.
Okay. Is that better? So here's 100% function. Or life, 100% life. Normal function everywhere, right? Your body uses it. This is death, right? So let's say your body's functioning at this level here. Okay? Taking nutrients can boost up this level. That's why we give it. We're not trying to treat the symptom. We want to restore the normal functions of the body so it can heal again. So let's just go ahead and look at this. And let's just say there's a certain amount of nutrients that you need right here. That if you go below this amount every day, you'll suffer a deficiency disease. You will have a disease of deficiency. Then the RDA says you need to have at least that amount every day. Does this means that's the optimal amount that your body's going to work best with? There's another amount. And really, this amount changes up and down depending on how much demand you put, how much your body's stimulated to do things, to use, it's going through growth and like in other words, if I go ahead and start exercising and breaking down muscle tissue every week because I'm exercising, is my body going to need more nutrients and building up and repairing and building up?
Yes.
Exactly, so it can change. So, but this is what the optimal amount is. And sometimes that can change. So when you first start coming to the office and you test to see exactly what's the proper amounts your body needs of certain nutrients, as soon as your body starts really getting more, building momentum and healing and repairing the tissues and building up any damaged areas, right? As it starts working faster and faster, more efficiently, that amount may actually go up first. And sometimes we see that. We see a bell curve where the amount of nutrients somebody needs in the beginning of care is slower, then it goes higher, and then it goes back lower again. Does anyone know why this would happen? In the beginning, it's not really healing that much, and it's not doing as much for many people, right? So you're not needing as much. But as your body's healing mechanism, as your body starts working a lot harder and doing a lot more to heal, it can use a lot more of those nutrients. And now it makes a difference. It's not just expensive urine. Your body's using it. It's making a huge difference. And then why does it come back down again?
A lot of heal.
Yeah, there's not as much healing necessary. So your body's, it doesn't need as much. So in the beginning it needs it, but it's not going to use it. In the middle, it needs it and it's using it if you give it to it. That's where it makes the biggest difference. That's why I don't always just do the nutrition right first. Let me help you understand what's causing your problem. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's say, and then you get to come down. And you just start focusing on how do I just maintain my body healthy. You follow? So the RDA, is that the amount that you want to take if you're challenged and you really want to boost your health?
No.
No, you want to take the optimal amount. And so everything that we share, like 100,000 IUs, I've seen studies, both sides, where they go, oh, that's way too much. I've seen people say that. I looked at, you go look at the Merck Index, the Merck Manual. They've done studies where they gave infants 300,000 IUs a day for 30 days straight. And as soon as symptoms started, whatever of it, they stopped it and it all reversed. And it's all listed in the Merck Manual. And it's like, so it's safe. And we're talking about just for a few days to boost your immune system when you're sick and then shut down. Unless there's something like cancer going on, then it's going to be a little bit more extended period of time. Yes?
I had read that certain vitamins, and I thought vitamin A was one of them that you could overdose.
That's what we're talking about. And the studies were done with what? Did we remember? Beta-carotene, right? And in the rare cases, that's what I was just addressing right now. In the rare cases where it does, that's what I was telling you, it's in the Merck Index, that any symptoms of hypervitaminosis A, that's what they call it, right? The skin get a little itchy, the hair can flake a little dandruffy, right? You just, as soon as you stop taking it, it all reverses.
Oh.
And that's why it's safe.
So why
Yeah.
dinner and not spread it out over the day, like part breakfast, part of dinner?
Because these are fat soluble. So you want to have the most food in your system, you want to absorb the most of it. So we do it with dinner, the third meal of the day, usually the biggest meal of the day. And you want to absorb most of it.
If your biggest meal was lunch, you'd
Then
do
you
it
would
at
do it
lunch.
there?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've done it there. You got it? So anyway, so let's go ahead. So we get that whole idea? So this is what we've done. So you wouldn't stay on 100,000 IUs regularly. If you're taking it just for regular, you would take one, like 25,000 IUs. A lot of times when you go to the nutrition stores, you might only find the 10,000 IU capsules, which means they're little tiny ones, but you have to take 10 with dinner. So that's why we have the 25,000 IU capsules. And if you want to boost your immune system, you just take 4 of them, and they go easy. So anyway, so vitamin A, let's go ahead. Now, what's the #1 mineral for your immune system? Someone said it.
Zinc.
You knew that already? Right? It works with vitamin A. Right? I think purple might be easier for everyone to see. Should I write it purple? Anyway, so we're going to take zinc. Now zinc, you want to take 200 milligrams. These are upper numbers. These are the max you would take, and you would not take this on a regular basis. But you can take 200 milligrams of zinc. It works with vitamin A, okay? Very powerful. Okay? And there's different kinds of zinc. Sometimes I carry zinc gluconate just to help provide a cheaper one for people. That's still just as good, unless it irritates your stomach, because it's a larger molecule. It gets absorbed. It's a little harder to get absorbed through the stomach. So, like I don't know. What's your favorite car? What's the classiest car you can think of? All right. So the Cadillac of zincs would be zinc picolinate. So that's the what's that? That's the Rolls Royce right there.
How
That's
do you spell that? Can you
what's-
write it down?
P-I-C.
P-I-C.
Let me write it down.
Yeah, just write it down, you can think if you want.
P-I-C-C-O-L-A-N-A-T-E.
PICC.
Okay. So don't worry, they have it in the back over there. You can just
Not your
they'll-
handwriting.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, so zinc picolinate. So because it's just a small molecule, it gets absorbed through the stomach easier. And sometimes it's still a little sensitive to someone. So they make the sprays now that you can do a zinc spray, and there's ways. There's the kind that go under the tongue. So if it's bothering you, if you're in an emergency situation with your health, then there's ways to get you whatever you need. Okay. So there's the A, the zinc. What's the #1 vitamin for healing? Let's speed up through this. Ready? Vitamin E. Okay. Once again, do you know where the biggest producer of vitamin E at one point was? I don't know if it still is. It was Kodak. Yeah. I was at a seminar and I learned that once. So let me explain to you. This is important. Remember we said the source is important? Well, with Kodak, now everything's more digital. They used to have all this leftover stuff from the developing. Okay? And the Environmental Protection Agency came down on them because they were dumping it. And they were trying to find ways to gain more money from it. And what they found out is one of the ingredients in there was DL, right? It was the natural form of vitamin E and also the unnatural form, like if it's synthetically made in a laboratory. So both the D and the L form, they're mirror images. And the problem is that one of them is toxic to the body and the other one isn't. But whenever you know how when you buy a vitamin, if it's a natural vitamin found from nature, you're going to have just the good form of it. That's why we always want to find more natural. But if it's a vitamin they made synthetically in a laboratory, do you understand that mirror images, my right hand and my left hand are mirror images, right? But they're not the same. If you shake my hand, you'll recognize that I would have to switch hands for that one. It's like your body will make the same exact looking thing, but they're mirror images, both forms of it. So what happens is your body works with one of them, but not the other, and it can be very toxic. So people take small amounts, it thins the blood, it does this, it does that, for whatever reason they're taking it, but it's not the best form. So what they did was they started using a lot of their stuff, getting the vitamin E from it, selling it, and you got to definitely know where you get it from. So you want natural vitamin E. You got it? From fish oils. So anyway, so the E, you want, let's say, 400 milligrams to 800 milligrams, all right? Let's say someone has heart disease and their body's been thick, and you got to check with your medical doctor because they might be giving you stuff that thins your blood already. And vitamin E is a natural blood thinner. That's what some of our patients do. They go, well, why am I going to take this? Sometimes some of them, you know, like some Coumadin and stuff, warfarin, it's like, some of it's rat poison. It's the same stuff they used in the rats because that's how it kills the rats. It causes them to hemorrhage out and they bleed in the brain and they die. And that's the stuff that they use. It's just, you know, like paint thinner thins the paint, right? That's what blood thinner does to your blood. So rather than doing that, they said, well, what if I just decreased this and went ahead and took vitamin E instead? And I said, well, I'm not here to treat your symptoms. I don't treat symptoms here, and I don't go play that game. I just want to give your body what it needs to be healthy. So I send them to their medical doctor to check their prothrombin time, the clotting time, and as long as it's getting better. That's what ended up happening. So a lot of times they start off taking a little bit more E and weaning off the poisons. And what happens is, as long as they go back to their medical doctor and do that test, you're starting to see things improve, and it's pretty amazing. And they're able to come off all the bad stuff, right? So anyway, but like always a good idea. You ever hear doctors say if you're going to be on a long plane trip, take an aspirin? No, I tell I go take an extra vitamin A, right? Because you don't want to get a blood clot or something from sitting too long. I always say get up, walk around a little bit every so often. Okay, so A, zinc, E. Guess what works with E? The mineral that works with E? Selenium. All right. So now with selenium, you want 100. It's micrograms. Okay, not milligrams. Micrograms, a lot smaller, a thousandth of that. Okay. So, but yeah, anything more than 200 micrograms a day can be toxic. Okay? So A, zinc, E, selenium, and this is what you're taking with dinner. There's going to be other stuff, right? What's one of the most powerful things for anti-aging? There's just tons of studies on it now all the time. Your omegas. Your body, did you know the cells of your body, right? Here's a cell membrane. That cell membrane, if we look at it, here's the nucleus, here's also the organelles, okay? Right? So if we took a look at this cell membrane and looked at it bigger, it's like this. There's some cholesterol in there. All right, it's a phospholipid bilayer. And there's all these fats that are involved also in making this. And the question is, as your body is healing and repairing, what kind of fats is it using to make the walls of your cell membrane, of your cells?
Cholesterol.
Cholesterol is part of it. What kind of fats is it using to get in there? What's the source? Is it McDonald's fried food with extra or is it like your omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids? I get it, right? So the omegas are a huge, huge thing, and they're talking all about it, anti-aging, and all right. Who knows what the number one nutrient that is depleted in your heart as you age? The most common one. A lot of studies on this. In Japan, they're actually using it for heart disease as a treatment in hospitals. They're giving it to people, and it is so natural. It's actually considered a food by the FDA. There's no maximum amount you can take. It's so important to your body that every cell in your body actually makes it.
Okay.
It actually makes it. Every cell in your body can make it. That's how important it is. But it's mostly found in the heart because that's the biggest, that muscle is that's the part of your body that never stops working hard. Never. Even your brain, you can rest a little bit, but your heart is always, even when it's sleeping, it's pumping, pumping, pumping. And it depletes the most in the heart. It's the most depleted nutrient, coenzyme Q10. I hear some O's. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
You take it? Code Q10. And the amounts that they take are such small amounts sometimes because it's expensive, right?
Yes.
Right? If you want to take like a good normal size amount, Peter knows, because you take that, right? Same thing I give to my dad and myself every so often or when I want. I take a good 500-600 milligrams.
Where does that come from?
But the ones you see in the stores, a lot of times you'll see 30 milligrams. Or 60 milligrams, because it's so expensive. Japan, they had this, they patent on some system that they use to extract it, and it's the most pure way, so it gets imported and it's expensive.
Where does it come from, though?
CoQ10?
Yeah.
Every cell in your body makes it.
No, I know, but I mean, if you're gonna buy it in a vitamin, which is out there,
Yeah.
what makes it? Is it seaweed? Is it what plant? What derives it? Is it only internally with us, or is it somewhere in the plant or fruit or vegetable or herb area?
So is it as important, the question is it as important to like different herbs and plants and
No,
seaweed
is it
and things
like
like
the-
that, like can you get it
what's
from
the
there?
source?
Yeah, what's the
Yeah.
source?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
the source?
I'll find out for you.
Okay, just curious, like to know the source.
I'll find out for you, because now you got me curious too.
Okay, anyway,
Alright?
thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay? So
Yeah, you
anyway,
might
so coenzyme Q10, very powerful. Alright? What it does is it actually helps your body utilize oxygen better. It's the last acceptor on the electron transport chain. When we talked about making cellular energy, ATP. No? Anyway, the point is that your body uses oxygen more efficiently. Right? If you have cancer, right? Does your body work better with less oxygen or more oxygen?
More.
Less, more acidic or more alkaline you want to be? More alkaline. So you guys read pH Miracle, Alkalize Your Diet, things like that. There's a lot of studies on that.
That's almost
So-
taking
What's that?
farm grade peroxide, people swallow it,
Yeah.
it's supposed to kill, does that work? They're claiming that it kills the oxygen in your system.
Kills the oxygen.
No, it kills the oxygen and that kills the cancer.
Yeah.
Is that true?
So sometimes they can go ahead. You can do a lot of things. Yeah. You can take.
So
I've
the
seen
one
where they
that
actually
you're-
go ahead and inject directly into the tumors, and you know something that can kill all the cells in there too. And there's things like that. You can use peroxide. That's not new. That's been going on for a while. The problem is that your body. The reason why you get tumors is your body's walling it off to protect it and trying to fight it, right? So when you go ahead and you puncture through that, when they do a biopsy, they puncture through that. There's little blood vessels, there's little things, it goes into the circulation easier, it can spread easier. So there's a lot of challenges. You ever hear of someone, they had cancer for a while, they were doing okay though, but when the doctors cut them open, it just spread
Oh,
everywhere
yeah,
quickly.
that, yeah.
That's if it gets into the bloodstream or the lymphatics, major challenges. That's why with me, I didn't even want them to biopsy anything, and because they went ahead, they showed me where it had started, and then they showed me on the pictures. Now they show you pictures on the computer screen where it turned all black and all cancerous. And he goes, "We need to get in there." And I was just like, "Hold on a second, there's no way I'm puncturing that right here. I said, first give me like a few weeks to see what I can do, and it started shrinking. Thank God. So I was like, there's no way I was gonna let them. They wanted to amputate all my intestines. It was crazy. They wanted to cut me from my ileocecal valve all the way up to part of the ascending colon and then part of the transverse colon, cut halfway across
Yeah, you
there.
would've missed
So
that.
that's a huge section. I know.
We would've missed that.
So, okay, so guys, so we got a lot of stuff to do. Who wants the protocols? All right, I can keep giving you a lot of good information, but we're gonna just go quickly now with the protocols so you have an idea of what to do. I give little tidbits about each, but I realized that I could go on for like a 6-hour weekend seminar on this. So we did 4 nutrients. So let's go a little faster over here, okay? So A, zinc, E, selenium, okay? This is with dinner, what you would take, okay? This is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So A, zinc, E, selenium. Let's do breakfast here. Let me just write it out here, breakfast. So for breakfast, you're going to have like a good B50 complex, all right? That means it's 50 milligrams of everything, okay? You can take B50 complex. You're going to have like alpha lipoic acid. You know, alpha lipoic acid is a very powerful nutrient and antioxidant. It's one of the most powerful antioxidants for your nerve system. So if you know anyone who has mental stuff going on, okay, memory issues, focus issues, it's one of the things you would put in. Although there's a nutrient that we have called total brain, and it has like 50 things in it. It's going to be more expensive than alpha lipoic acid, but it has everything needed synergistically to work together to support the brain and all the tissues in there. So, but anyway, the point is, alpha lipoic acid is so powerful, they did studies on such a large amount, 700 milligrams a day, every day for over a month, and they found that it actually, in the studies, it reversed diabetic neuropathy. That's how powerful it was in the studies. So that's how powerful of a natural nerve, you know, when you have the high sugar, it causes damage to the nerve endings. It actually started reversing the diabetic neuropathy, 700 milligrams a day.
700?
No, I'm not telling you to take that.
Oh,
That was a
oh,
study
oh,
they did.
You're gonna put study.
That's a
Give it-
study they did. I'm just letting you
Good
know.
example.
See, that's the whole thing. The more you give your body what it needs, the more it can heal and with that. So there's people with diabetes that are losing their toes and losing their legs and losing their nerves are just dying. That's what neuropathy is, right? And because the blood sugar is way too high and all the bacteria and here it is reversing that. I mean, pretty powerful. Allowing the natural wisdom of your body to go through. So B50 complex, alpha lipoic acid, all right? C. Now this is boosting, right? So 1,000 milligrams, right? Now with C, I gotta tell you something about C. You don't just want to take vitamin C without that's like the vitamin J component. You want to get, it can be toxic also unless it's given to you with the other part. Like usually it'll be with bioflavonoids or lemon bioflavonoids or rutin or rose hips. You'll see it with these things in the good companies or a better company. Now more of the companies are starting to do that because no one was buying the other one, at least word got out. So that's very important. You want to get it with those natural things, and together it works so well and it doesn't get toxic. If anyone smokes cigarettes or cigars, the #1 thing that gets depleted from all that smoke is the vitamin C out, and it weakens the artery linings. You know, vitamin C. My wife and I, we did a fire walk once. Yeah, once one of those things where they gasoline, a fire, we were at hot coals, and we went ahead and we walked across. Anyway, we both burned our feet.
Really?
Especially if you play with fire. You get burned. You get burned. You know what the interesting thing is? Only the right foot got burned and not the left in both of us. I'll tell you what happened really quick. We were there, it was our first time and we got excited and there's this music playing and you want to get the vibration up, your energy up because there's energy there. It's just a balance of energy and when you're in enough faith, enough certainty, you're taught when you go ahead and you look at the other side of those hot coals, see your goals, see what you're committed to, feel that passion, feel that fire, that never give up energy. You're gonna, get your energy moving, you're feeding off the energy of everyone else, and when you're ready, you just go and you just look straight ahead and you walk it, right? So, my wife and I, we made a mistake. We said, let's do it together.
Oh.
But we didn't have that moment at the same time. And then we were both processing emotions about it as we walked, and we both burned only the left foot. Right brain, emotional side, left foot. Isn't that interesting? Only the left foot burned, not the right one. Crazy, right? So anyway, so that night I took 5,000. I asked somebody who had been through that experience before. She goes, take 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C. 5,000. I thought that was crazy. So I did it. What's that?
Or you could have put lavender oil, it would have.
Yeah, but the thing is, it was burned so bad, like there was no way I was touching it with anything. I was like, it was like this. You don't understand, with my wife, we both burned her foot, our foot, just equally bad, but because she was so bad, I carried her. And then, so I was walking on it for a little bit first. It was, yeah, you do things like that, right? So, you remember that? That's right, we went to your house, that was the night.
Oh my goodness.
That way, right? So, but anyway, 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C the next morning, it was like a miracle. It was like 80% healed, and I could walk on it normal, and I was like, oh my goodness. See, the vitamin C for the cross bridges, also any sulfur. You know, if you have soft tissue injuries, anything like MSM, right? You've heard of that, right? Chondroitin sulfate, glucosamine, chondroitin sulfate. Like, yeah, but for any type of soft tissue that needs healing, repair. You follow?
Vitamin E was supposed to be for the skin.
Well, vitamin E is very powerful healing as well. So they're two different things. It's when you have like that type of tissue, there's what's called disulfur cross bridges in the way it's being made, like onions and garlic and stuff like that. It's high in that. It helps to, yes. You follow? So, so anyway, so C, 1,000 milligrams. 1,000 milligrams, okay? That's a good immune booster, okay? So B, alpha lipoic acid. C, CoQ10. Now, let's say you're going to just take 2 or 3 of those to boost your immune system. Sometimes I go ahead, I don't have everything, and I'm like, let me just take the A. I always take the A and the zinc if I feel like a cold coming on. The E and selenium, most times if I have it, they're available. But definitely the A and the zinc. And then if I have it there, I take the C. But I don't take it together because that's water soluble. You follow?
What about the omega-3 you said before?
I'm about to put that on there. Lunch and dinner.
How much CoQ10?
Is this working? right?
How much CoQ10?
CoQ10, so 600 milligrams, okay? You're looking for immune boosting right now. You're talking about, you're in an emergency, we're not talking about just a regular, you know, you have a condition that you want to strengthen your immune system, you take at least 600 milligrams, you can take more even. Remember, the FDA said that there's no limit. It's a food and it's very powerful. So B50, there's other things. If you want to boost your immune system, there's the most powerful natural herbs found in nature. Okay? We didn't even talk about herbs and stuff. And there's something called olive leaf extract. It comes, the same thing that the olive tree, you know, you get olive oil from. Well, the leaves of that tree have something in there. Okay? Linolenate. D-linolenate, you hear that? Anyway, it is powerful, the most powerful. So sometimes you go ahead, you have a virus or something. I have that at home too. I just keep that on stock. We have, we get it from East Park Research. East Park Research still has the patent for the most potent form of pulling us. That's why I go with that company, and it's the best one. So, but anyway, the point is olive leaf extract. Okay. So olive leaf extract, very, very, very powerful.
And the amount?
You know, it depends. I usually test it. You know how we do the testing?
Yeah.
Okay, so, but we test it. But you can go ahead, if you bring it to me, I can test you and see what would be best for you, okay? So, very bad. You know what's the other one equally powerful? It's called MGM3. I don't really carry that with me usually or in the office because they're equally powerful. And I have some other products that have this in there a little bit. But the point is, it's a little bit more expensive, I think, but it comes from shiitake mushrooms.
Oh.
MGM3 from shiitake mushrooms. Right, of course, that's shiitake. Shiitake mushrooms, right? And that's another thing, very, very powerful immune boosting. And then, you know, if you go ahead and see some of the nutrients that we have like total multi-immune and other stuff, you'll see it has maitake mushroom, shiitake mushroom, different blends. You know, sometimes we have, it has, we have Total Virix that has the olive leaf in it and a bunch of other things that work synergistically together. But then you have the Total Multimmune. It actually has colostrum in it. You know, when a baby is stirred, the first few days of milk letdown, it's just so loaded with immune. The baby is relying on the mom's immune system, not its own immune system yet. And so that makes a big difference. Some people it makes a huge difference. Some people they don't respond the same, I've noticed. So you test the person, see what they need. So these are the things you can take with breakfast and lunch, and then with dinner it's A, zinc, E, selenium.
Omegas.
Yeah, and the omegas. So a good blend of omegas. For those of you who have done the organ and tissue scan, you take the one that we tested your body specifically for you. If not, you can take Dr. Udo's Choice oil, and he has a good blend of omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids. We have another one called Complete Omegas here. You can take that one too, just a general blend. Or if we tested you specifically, you take the one that your body tested for. There's like flaxseed oil. What's that? You just started here, didn't you? You got to make an appointment for that special organ and tissue scan. And then we go ahead and we follow that. So you got it. Krill oil. Krill oil is a great one. See, the reason I love krill oil is because thank you, Brianna. The krill is it's so small. It's like little shrimps, but they're so small. They haven't had time to pick up all the mercury and stuff like that from the ocean, so it's more pure. And then, anyway, great source of good, healthy fats. Great source of good, healthy fats.
Omega-3 fats.
Yeah. You got it? So you see this? So this is to boost the immune system. So you got a good B50 complex, alpha-lipoic acid, C1000, CoQ10, olive leaf extract, MGMTV from shiitake mushrooms, vitamin A, zinc, E, selenium, and some good fats. You got it? And you can take the olive leaf, extract again as often throughout the day as you can take it. Sometimes we give them like 2-3 times a day. Okay. Yes.
What about coconut oil in terms of?
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's a better source of water than filtered water. It's
the water, but
it's,
the oil too, in terms of
Mhm.
putting it in as part of your nutritional
yeah.
supplements.
And you know what I used also from your company? One of the best companies, my favorite companies for essential oils is Young Living. Okay. And you can notice the difference when you take the natural oils and you just put it on. And my daughter, she wanted some lemon in her water, and I had like that lemon. We just put a
Yeah,
drop
yeah.
of that essential oil. It comes right from
Mhm.
the lemon.
Yeah.
And it was like as if we squeezed fresh lemon in there like that,
It's
right?
even better, yeah.
So, well, it has that pure,
Because it's made from the rind, which is,
It's
and
made
the
from the
pulp,
rind,
which is
yes.
where all the nutrients are.
exactly.
And the
So,
thing,
there's so many things. That's this picture you see over there. It says Young Living Essential Oils. That's what that
and
is.
related to what you said earlier about oxygen,
Mhm.
oils all oxygenate the blood and disease can't live in it.
That's right. So when you get a good essential oils and you rub, you know what I do with the kids sometimes when they're, I take lavender oil and I rub it on their feet. Or I say my wife, I should say. I thought I thought when I did. I want sometimes. You know what I love? I love when they ask for daddy.
Yeah.
Did you say it was
So
mommy?
what does the lavender do?
It's very calming,
For
relaxing.
everything.
So I rub it into the bottom of the foot, and it has that scent too that just relaxes you. And they just go ahead and they sleep all night.
Oh, I love that. That's a good idea.
But when my daughter was having a congested sinus and she still wasn't, she just, for some reason, she was subluxated with breathing from her mouth. No, I don't want to. But your nose is stuffy, honey. You're just going to have to do this for tonight a little bit. Okay? We all get colds. That's what happens. And it's like, she was just fighting and then she'd scream and kicking in the night and making it like so that nobody can get to sleep. You ever seen one of those days when you came in and I'm ready to adjust you and I look like, you know what I mean? That was that night. So my daughter was keeping us up all night. So we went ahead and used peppermint oil, and it helps just like open up the sinuses a little bit, and not too much. And you want to make sure the eyes don't tear, like burn. But it helps to open up the sinuses, energize her, puts them on her feet a little bit, and that helped her a little bit so she gets sleep. Not because it relaxes you, it actually energizes you, but it helps clear her sinuses.
Peppermint is also good against allergies.
And it's good with allergies too, that's right. So anyway, so you guys getting this?
Yes.
Immune boosting. We're gonna erase it,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So let's just say you have an autoimmune disease, right? What did we talk about before? We talked about chronic fatigue, right? So did you know, like, one of the things that's a fact is that your body, your intestines, are made up of, here, let's look at this. This is the inside of your intestine as food passes through, okay? It's made up of 1/3 gram-positive bacteria, 1/3 gram-negative bacteria, and 1/3 yeast when it's healthy. You got it? There's good, healthy, natural bacteria and yeast. So when you're under chronic stress, what's the most important thing you can take? Anyone here know what's good for when you're under stress and your adrenal glands are shut down?
B vitamin.
BSF. What's that?
B vitamin.
B vitamins are good. Your adrenal glands you see also. But I have a special glandula. I didn't get into the glandulars yet. I didn't realize how long. You know, I haven't done nutrition in a while, and I don't. This is not meant to be a 2-hour thing. It was meant to be like an hour and 20 minutes. But the thing is, there's just so much. When there's actual glandulars, it's like smart nutrition. It gives you, like, if you take actual something that has good adrenal actual tissue in it, it has a higher affinity for those types of cells in your body. So when they tagged it radioactive and did studies, 70–80% of it goes right to the adrenal. So that's called repair nutrition. We have that stuff here for the liver, the heart, the lungs, to support any organ or tissue. When we do the organ and tissue scan, we make sure every organ has enough support that it's healing. And anyway, the point is, so that's what a glandular is, and that's why we have something called de-stress formula, and it helps support not only the adrenal glands, which get burnt out under stress. All right, this is something that's so important that we're going to take time. What is it? One of the things, my topics I said I was going to give was the super trio. How do you speed up wound healing, right? There was this baseball player a professional baseball player, pitcher, got nailed, hurt his shoulder. You know, I don't know if you know about professional baseball, but there's the DL list and the injured reserve list, right? One of them, you're injured temporarily, but they're expecting you to come back. They can't replace you and bring up another player to take your place while you're injured. So they still have to do this balance of, is this person on the injured list or on the disabled list, right? So if you go disabled, now they can go ahead and bring someone up. And forgive me if I have them reversed, but it's more, you get the point.
Yeah.
So the point is that this guy, he was injured. There was no way he was coming back. They said, get him down to the DL list. We need someone to take his place. And they gave him these pancreatic enzymes, which we have here. Okay, it's called proenzyme. It's all proteolytic enzymes, and it helps break stuff down, and it speeds up wound healing. It eats up the debris wherever there's damaged tissue. These enzymes help support that. And what he did was he took like 10 of them. all day long. Morning, afternoon, evening, morning, afternoon, evening, morning, afternoon, evening. Like that for a week. And 10 days later, he felt perfectly normal again. He had to ask to be traded to another team because it was going to ruin his, that's how fast he healed. So, pretty cool, right? So here you are thinking he's going to be gone for a long time, and in 10 days he was completely healed, ready to pitch again, no problems, and they traded him. So anyway, the point is, Dr. Mladenov is the one who discovered that and made that concoction, and then there's a lot of similar things now, but it's the proteolytic enzymes, the pancreatic enzymes, speeds of wound healing, and the three that we put together is the DSF,
That was a muscular issue?
DSF, the proenzyme, right? The DSF proenzyme, okay, and joint support. Okay, which if you're allergic to shellfish or something, you wouldn't take the joint support that I have like that, we'd find another one for you. But this is the trio. So when your body's handling stress better, remember when you're under stress, are you in like healing mode? Are you feed and breed, or stress mode, fight or flight? Fight or flight, everything's breaking down. So you take the DSF to support your adrenal glands. It actually supports all phases of chronic stress. When you're under chronic stress, do we get ulcers and things like that?
Yes.
It's just the constant cortisol, if it's too chronic, starts to eat away at the intestines. So now what happens is you start to get some yeast leaking out into your bloodstream. The yeast eats up the B vitamins. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. So now guess what? You're going to start getting more and more tired. This is called a leaky gut, by the way. Anyone here, raise your hand if you heard of leaky gut.
Say that again?
Okay? A leaky gut from the chronic stress.
What's the cure for it?
The cure for it.
What's the treatment for leaky gut?
Well, there's different nutrients that you got to start getting this tissue to repair. That's the cure, right? Your body's wisdom can do that, and we show you how to support it. And we have an actual product called Total Leaky Gut, which has black walnut in it, and aloe, and all these different nutrients that coat the intestines and support it. However, here's the thing I want you to understand with chronic fatigue, all right, fibromyalgia, and rheumatoid arthritis. So the yeast comes out into your bloodstream. The yeast eats up all the B vitamins. So what happens to your energy levels? Chronic fatigue. As you go ahead, and that continues to happen, because you're not using the citric acid cycle to make ATP, you have to use the pyruvic acid cycle. It gives you less energy. You're getting like 4 ATP for the same amount of energy instead of 32. And you build up acid in your muscles. So soon all your muscles start to get sore as that keeps building up over time, right?
Yeah.
Now, not only are you tired all the time, but all the muscles hurt. What do they call that? Fibromyalgia. Now, the yeast actually has a cellular membrane, okay, which has a very similar structure. If you look at the structure, it's almost the exact same thing, very similar to the structure of the synovial of your joints. And as the yeast stays in the bloodstream for a while, you start to develop more and more sensitivity to it. Your immune system starts building up antibodies against that. And you start to notice that your body starts to attack the synovial joints too. That's rheumatoid arthritis, when your body's attacking your synovial joints. So there's that theory that it's linked together. But what we do know is that the structure is similar. And when we go ahead though, and we start helping people that way and putting them on that autoimmune protocol, now this is not the immune boosting protocol. That would be an autoimmune protocol, right? Someone has, let's say, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Let's say they have Crohn's disease. Let's say they have ulcerative colitis. Let's say they have whatever it is, anything autoimmune where the body's attacking itself. Now you're not going to want immune boosting. You're going to do the opposite. You guys get this?
Mm-hmm.
All right? So here's what you do. So let's say you want to have autoimmune condition, right? You want to bring their body back into balance. Well, you want to support that intestines. You can take, now what's responsible for the natural, healthy, I'll just speak it to go faster. What's responsible for the natural turnover of new healthy epithelial cells, like the lining of the intestines and stuff? Vitamin A, remember we talked about that? Right, that's why it's so good when you have infection bacteria growing on your sinuses and you go ahead and take it or something, right? So the point is that now you want to take it not with dinner, but on an empty stomach. and don't eat food even 20 minutes before or after, high dose, and you want it to coat the intestines. It's a whole different
Wow.
strategy with an autoimmune disease. A lot of times, a lot of these autoimmune diseases, it's all starting in the gut. You've heard that? And you got to heal up that gut. And you want to do everything you can. So if you're in an emergency state, I would do both. I would take that total leaky gut, which has all the good whole food nutritional support to help repair, stimulate, regenerate new healthy cells. Plus, I would take some A, some zinc on an empty stomach, some E and selenium, and go ahead and take a higher dose, some CoQ10, some aloe, some stuff like that. Just go ahead and help coat the intestines. Black walnut's great. It's also good for, you know, for like any parasites and things like that. Sometimes we go ahead and we check your body for infective organisms, and we give you something specific to support the immune system. And there's things for parasites. If your body has too much of that type of thing that's parasitic, it's living off your body. Whether it's an actual true parasite or a bacteria, but it's living off your body like a parasite. The point is we can check it and support you, yeah.
What about malabsorption? Because
That's another thing. When you have a leaky gut, you're not really absorbing all the nutrients. So here's the thing, you have all this stress, a lot of the food you're taking isn't being broken down as well as it could be, as it should be. You're not absorbing as much as you should, not eliminating the best way you should, so your body gets toxic. And your body, the things that aren't supposed to be going into your bloodstream are going in. And you're getting undigested food particles, proteins, going into your bloodstream. It's going to increase allergies, increase, you know, all these reactions that you have in your body. So that's why we go ahead and support your intestines. Get your intestinal wall to heal up. It's so important. That's like so important for your immune system anyway. You got it? So you go ahead and you take the A, the zinc, the E, the selenium. You do that on an empty stomach so it can coat the intestines. And then you take like the total leaky gut. You take like 2 of them 3 times a day, 4 times a day, whatever you need. And you do that for a while, and then you lower it. Same thing. Remember how we started off the day though. You also want to make sure your body's wisdom is being expressed naturally there, the way it's supposed to, because you should have never had to go through this. If you have to go ahead and correct the level of normal function to a certain part of your body, the reason you're going to have to correct it is because you never maintained it. Everybody has stresses in their life. Remember, you're going to have things that you're going to need time to meditate on and stay in faith with. But what happens is when you're in faith, you're at peace. Your nerves are relaxed. But when you're feeling overwhelmed, come on, that's the opposite, right? You know how you feel when you're overwhelmed? Everything's breaking down. And some of us are living there. And then wondering why we got sick after 5 years of being overwhelmed. Or 10. Or whatever it is. Or maybe you're feeling pretty good in most areas of your life, but there's that one thing, because that one son of mine that just, or whatever it is, and it's eating away inside, and we're repressing it. Instead of dealing with it, adapting better, your nerves are too overwhelmed, so you're not adapting and finding a way to address it properly that you feel fulfilled with. No, it's just there's anger, resentment building up. You got to get to the root of this. You got to get your nerve system healthy. When your nerves are healthy, you remember that there's always a way. What's that called? If you say there's always a way. Faith. There you go. There's always a way. That's what got me through when I had the cancer and I thought I was going to die. I had to keep reminding myself, there's a way. There's a way. And it couldn't be my steps. I had to, see, does God ever sweep anything under the rug if it's important?
No.
No. He's going to address the cause, the root, take care of a problem at the root. So if he has his steps out of any hole for me that are preordained, right? If I'm going ahead and what do we do? Let me try this, let me try that, let me do this, let me do that. It's like you're losing the battle already. Because you're not fighting. You have a battle that's already won if you just follow his steps. But see, if you take the time to get to the bottom of it, that's why you guys are healing. You just started. You get to the bottom of it, and there's a certain level of understanding where you go ahead, and it's being ripped away from what? All the, the enemy uses negativity, stress, fear, doubt, disbelief, sarcasm, cynicism. You're surrounded by it, right?
Yeah.
That's why when we go ahead and we help you through it, do I get too advanced, or do I keep it simple? I ask questions, help you see the simplicity of it, and it's like, oh. And it's like, yeah, so if this was going on, what would happen? It's kind of like what I did before. If we cut all the nerves to an organ, what's going to happen? Okay, have you checked it? You know what I mean? We just go into basic stuff because you're surrounded by constant influences telling you, you don't need to pay attention to that. Oh, whatever. Oh, don't. That's how the enemy works. Fear, doubt. God gives you a spirit of faith, empowerment, and a sound mind or self-discipline. And the fruits of the Spirit are definitely not fear, doubt, and disbelief, okay? So I'm telling you right now that if you're stressed about something, you don't know what to do, that's where it's time to pray or meditate, get to the bottom of it, grab a pen and paper. The way the things are in the world today, it's not like 2,000 years ago. So much complexity, get a pen and paper and pray that way. Meditate, see what's going on, what do I know? What are my goals? What am I looking for? What do I need to find? Now you're in faith because you don't know the answer yet, but you know that there's a way and you're going to find it. You're looking for those steps.
Possibility.
You're seeking understanding. That's what Scripture says to do. You're seeking wisdom. You're seeking God's stuff. So, and then all of a sudden, when you get to the bottom of it and you're like, oh, I see what's going on. At that same moment, you can see the first step at least. And then more and more. And you're moving forward in faith now, which is why we do that in your doctor's report. Which is why we're going to do another go-over, just to help you remember what we found in your x-ray. You see? So that's what, you guys got it? You see why we're healing, why people see miracles here? It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the time we take to get to the bottom of it, to get to the truth, to get to the cause of an issue. Address it. The biggest problem that people have is that their bodies are breaking down and they're just trying stuff. I don't even accept all patients. If there's someone just says, oh, let me try you, doc, I go, no. I go, I've said that before. I go, hold on a second. I go, obviously, we didn't get to the bottom of this enough yet. I said, so you're just moving like this. I hope this works. I'm like, no, I can't accept you as a patient like that. Because it's too stressful for me, and it becomes a struggle, and I'm not sure if I'm going to guarantee that you can get the results you're looking for when it's, see, if there's is uncertainty and faith the same thing? They're opposites, right?
Yeah.
So if you have so much uncertainty, even if I did a perfect job of getting everything working properly, the tensions are building up instantly. I don't know, I hope this works. All this doubt and disbelief and stuff. So then we just need to take more time in prayer or meditation, get to the bottom of it together. We'll help you. We'll help you go through 20 years of meditation. We do it in 1-2 hours, right? Remember, it's always like less than 2 hours, like an hour and 38 minutes, something like that. But the whole point is we get there until there's this understanding like, oh. And then when you look at your x-ray and you see things rotting and decaying and breaking down, you're like, oh my goodness, I know, I understand now why my body's not healthy, why it's breaking down, why you understand how it works. And now you can move forward in faith. And it's so important. Now it's like, oh. Now, and notice when you're in faith, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed that everything's going to go away. It means that now you know that if you restore normal function, if you can succeed at what you're trying to do, then yes, that's a guarantee everything will go away. But it's not necessarily that. It might be a struggle to get there. But at least you're on the right path now. We work together, we find the right steps, and the more you learn and grow, the clearer things get. There's always looking to get to the bottom of everything. You'll find your way. There's a way out of any hole you're in. That intelligence inside you loves you. If you ever notice, whenever I've worked with thousands and thousands of patients, maybe over 20,000 patients over the years, even me, you know that I've been through the 5 years ago the cancer and then the ulcerative colitis. I wasn't balanced yet, and we got my immune system to eat away the cancer so strongly, but I wasn't balanced. I wasn't trusting in that high intelligence 100%. I was trying to push it and force it using holistic technique, and it was great because 3 years later, it was confirmed the cancer was all gone. But the reason it was confirmed is because I was so bad, they sent me to the hospital again. They thought the cancer came back. And what we found was that it kept eating away at my intestines so bad that I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen. So it's about balance. It's about getting to the root. It's about letting that intelligence take over. That's what it's about. What you have inside you is so amazing. You know, it's 8:30 right now, and you know, there's just so much that we can do when it comes to nutrition, and there's so much more. But I think I just want to end with this main thing. There's all these nutrients. Let me just give you a list of the stuff, and anything that you guys are looking for, you get 15% off today, okay? Any of the nutrients and supports. Don't forget when you're alkalizing, right? What about the innate greens and the total greens, right? They're two different kinds, and they're different. Some people prefer one over the other. I go back and forth, but the more greens and alkaline your body is, the better your body works. If you're eating more of those natural, organic, especially the sprouts. The sprouts, the most nutritious part. It's loaded with tons of nutrients. It's loaded with it. Look at our total greens. Look at the total veggies. Oh, I have total veggies. When someone has cancer, there's 3 things we do. There's something I've called Total Protect. It has such powerful, natural anti-cancer things. And we give usually a Total Veggie and Total Protect together if someone has cancer. Yeah, usually you're taking a lot of stuff. You understand? So just in the beginning, but then the amount gets less and less and less. When you get to the bottom of it and you address your body this way, and you have God's natural wisdom being expressed more, if you can it's going away, but the question is, can you hold it? Can you maintain it? And if you can hold that alignment, hold that adjustment, then yeah, you heal. And usually when someone is diagnosed with cancer or something like that, we go do everything. I don't just do the nerve thing. I help take them through, get them into faith, help them understand what's going on, give them the nutrients to start supporting their body. We also work on detoxing also. And you get rid of the toxins, maybe do a special diet for a few days, just get to kickstart things going, your body detoxing, cleansing itself from the inside out, just let it purge everything. Stimulate autophagy. Who knows what autophagy is? Your body has actual systems that, thank you, you know. Your body has actual systems that will break down diseased cells, cancer cells, things like that, break it down into parts and recycle it. I mean, your body's amazing what it can do if it's designed to do it. Cancer, your body has its own natural chemotherapy, anti-neoplastins, interleukin, interferon, right? There's natural killer cells, killer T cells. There's programmed cell death. Every cell has a nerve. I mean, you need your body working the way it's supposed to. You got it? Same thing. Anyway, you get the point? So we did an immune boosting protocol. We did autoimmune. The same thing for the immune boosting protocol. You just take one tiny one of everything for a regular basis. Whatever you have, you just take one. Sometimes I go days where I don't take anything, and then 2 days later I go ahead and I'm always testing to see what my body needs. In the beginning, you just go ahead. All right? If your body's having adrenal fatigue and you're under way too much pressure or stress, mentally, physically, chemically, whatever it is, make sure you get that DSF. It makes such a huge difference. Sometimes whether someone heals or not depends on if they have enough support to their stress glands. When you're under stress, your body can't heal, it's breaking down. So throughout the day, your body's having bursts of healing if you're doing everything right, but you still have adrenal fatigue. Why not give it the support it needs and then keep it supported and healing constantly, consistently throughout the day? Isn't that going to give you a better chance? You get the idea? So if you've already let your body break down for years, that's what's going on. So, yes?
Tony, can you just discuss again what Beverly brought up, the absorption factor? How well a body, or the gut in particular, is able to absorb, and if it doesn't absorb well...
Well, that's why we have another product, Peter, called Total Enzymes. And a lot of times while you have a leaky gut and you're waiting for that to heal, first of all, anytime you cook food over 109 degrees, 110, 100 degrees, you're denaturing the enzymes that are naturally there that help you digest it. And so we'll give you specific, what's that?
No, I'm just agreeing.
So we'll give you special now these are not the same kind of enzymes we talked about, but these are digestive enzymes, and it helps, I say, we have something called total enzymes, and it helps assist in all the things, in the breakdown of the food, the absorption, and the utilization of the assimilation of those nutrients. Okay? So we'll give total enzymes and probiotics, that's the good healthy bacteria, to help inoculate the gut with the good healthy bacteria again. There's so many studies, so many things that are involved in that. And the truth is, if you eat chicken or beef in this country, okay, you're taking antibiotics, and unless it's organic, you're taking antibiotics and constantly putting it through. You know what I'm talking about?
I understand totally what you're saying.
So when you go ahead, there's things that you can do to help support that. And then when we take this small intestine and we see if there's a leaky gut, there's things you can do to go deeper into what's causing the stress directly affecting it. And we've taken you a layer deeper where we go ahead. That's where, if you want me to do that with you on your next visit, you just tell me, and we go into, okay, what's the physical, chemical, emotional stress, and we'll go deeper and address that.
Okay.
So this way you go deeper into your nerve system and see where there's resistance.
Okay.
Okay? So, but you go as deep as you have to go until you turn it around.
Yeah, because I was taking like...
Yeah. A lot of these things.
No, almost all.
Yeah, and from Dr. Felder too, right?
Yeah, and you.
Yeah.
But what you're addressing right now is what you were just talking about, the absorption factor.
The absorption factor.
I take 9 to 12 digestive enzymes a day, and in order to digest my food. But still, I find that, and I've taken all these other nutrients, right? And still, I find that there's still...
And in your particular case, can I speak about it?
Yes.
So in your particular case, there has been other challenges for you because of, remember we just actually mentioned it today, all the fibrous tissue that tends to build up in you. So when we go ahead and we're working with your spines, right? Do you notice how you guys have just been here for how many weeks? 3 weeks, you notice how your spine's starting to move easier, have more motion, more mobility. With Peter, he had a surgery, and they removed his esophagus and ripped it out and took it all the way and sewed it to the top of his mouth. And when I first met him, he was in the hospital, I think, 8 times in a row every month, because there was all this scar tissue building up. His body had this tendency to build up tons of scar tissue, and his whole area here and his spine, we're working on it, and sometimes it's like I'm finding that one spot where we can get more life in there, but there's so much tension there all the time. So that's trochon. Remember, when you have tension on it, if I even just put a little bit of tension on my hand, see, one of the dangers is it doesn't feel like it's hurting me. But if it stays that way, what's happening to my hand? That's right, and this part will decay, right? I won't notice any signs or symptoms. It's a silent killer. And so that's going on all along his spine, and it's affecting everything. So that's why we want to go deeper and deeper, and that's why I'm spending extra time with you when we do those exercises. If you're ready to go to the next level, I'll take you there. It sounds like you are, right? I know.
It's 12 years.
Yeah, well, not with me, but yeah.
You, it's 12 years.
Yeah. I remember, you want to hear something funny? Remember we talked about DSF? You know how we talked about DSF? The first day I met Peter, I wanted him to take a DSF because his body was just so stressed, and I tested him for it, and he needed it. So I wanted to give it to him, and he's like, I can't take this. You were eating out of a straw, I think, right?
Exactly.
So you have to understand, one of the reasons why we're so happy that you come here is that health is a journey. And sometimes you're going to see things heal quick and easy for people. Sometimes you'll see things take longer. Sometimes in yourself, you'll have some things that go away very quickly. And then sometimes you'll have things that take longer. There's a journey there, and your body has this most amazing wisdom that as you grow and heal, it does things in a way that you grow as a person. And you become more empowered, more a vessel of patience and love and humility and faith and certainty, and a stronger vessel for the people around you and your loved ones. And it's powerful as long as you don't give up. And so that's why I'm glad that you guys come here. You know that we bend over backwards for you, and we help you through that journey and whatever ups and downs you guys have. So we're here for you, okay? And those of you, I know Peter had brought in, he had asked me, I think it was in the beginning of today, for your friends?
Yes.
So a lot of times patients, this is a mission actually that we're on here. Most people don't have any clue what's causing their problems or why they're in the situation they're in. And then what happens is your health becomes a struggle because you're not even addressing the cause of it. It's like if the refrigerator's leaking, right? You go into your kitchen, you see water on the floor, so you mop it up once. Uh-oh, it's still a problem, it's still a problem, it's still a problem. All right, let's try this. Let's try these new paper towels. Let's try this new, oh, that's what medicine is, right? You're not getting to the root of it. So it's like, so it doesn't become a struggle? Don't you, if you don't get to where the leak is, maybe the leak's coming from the refrigerator. If you don't get to that, aren't you going to eventually have wood damage on the floor, and it gets worse, and it's pretty bad, and that's what happens to your body. That's what happens in your life, and it progresses more and more and more. And if things are breaking down, see, when you're subluxated, you have this going on in your spinal cord, area to keep you alive. You get misalignment, there's occlusion. You're losing nerve flow now to the functions. The tissues get weaker and break down, and you still don't notice any symptoms until there's at least 40% damage or breakdown. Okay? Then you'll have late stages, you have symptoms, things showing up in the blood, other issues, pain maybe. Not always pain, right? And then finally early death, especially if it's a certain organ that fails or something. So that's why this is a mission. We check people and we bless people. And said, Peter, thank you for caring about everyone and being on the mission. Peter always cares. He has one of the biggest hearts ever. And just a lot of our patients here, everyone here is on the mission. So I just want to be, I want to acknowledge you. And we're going to bless you guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the whole exam, the $700 in test for both of you. I'm not going to charge you for it. I'm just going to get you checked, and it'll be quick and easy, and we'll help you get an answer. But can you stand up for a second, Peter? Just thank you so much for, and Peter's made some tremendous strides. There was something that he had a while back where he had these blackouts, and it was very dangerous, and his daughter's with him. Do you remember that? The blackouts? And it's like, it was dangerous, where the wife was, how did you end up here? Or he would drive somewhere, not know how he got there. Very dangerous. And he was already a patient of mine, and I said, Peter, come in every day. First you went to the medical specialist, right? No one could find out what was wrong. Am I wrong? We're gonna keep it quick though.
Went to Greenwich Hospital.
Greenwich Hospital, they couldn't find what was wrong. I said, Peter, just get your butt in here, see me every day. We made special adjustments specifically to get more life to his brain, had him focus on that. And within, I think it happened one more time and then stopped.
It's happened 4 times. It happened 4 times.
4 times it happened. And then, and thank God, now it went away, thank God. And we pray it never comes back, but we keep his body working whatever it needs to do. So whenever you take pressure off the nerve, you're always better with pressure off your nerves than on, right? So the thing is, what is it that heals first? What does it heal second? What heals third? Your body always heals what's most important first. And I guess that was really important, so because it healed pretty quickly once we started addressing it. So guys, like this is, but for Peter, he's been on he's always wanted his daughter to be taken care of, her spine. You know, the reason we correct the spine is because people haven't maintained it. Everyone gets tensions and stresses, and sometimes we look, and I look at it, and I'll be like, and I don't say it that way, but I go ahead, I didn't tell you it was, use these words, right? But your spine was a wreck, right? It's like, and now everything's shutting down, and it's like so many people are like that. And now his wife's coming in, his daughter's coming in. He's been praying for that for a long time. We've been praying together. And God's just blessing him, and some things have healed quickly, some things were, but what would you say has happened to the quality of your life?
I wouldn't have had a quality of life if I didn't meet you.
I'm sorry. Anyway, Peter, so this is where he gives it back. Just thank you, Peter, for all you do. It hasn't been an easy road for him, but he's just looking to share with others. I love you guys. Okay? And you know what we're gonna do, Joanne? I'm actually gonna make a special point. You know how you asked me if we can go over the X-ray with you again so we can remind yourselves? Why don't we make a special appointment so I don't have to rush it? I want to actually sit with you, and we'll do that at the front, okay? Okay. You have any questions? Any questions before I get moving? Did you learn a lot? Okay.
You just reiterate something that.
Nice. Well, and sometimes it goes deeper. Repetition is the mother of skill, right? You got it? Lung problems, breathing problems, vitamin A, because it's all epithelial tissue. You follow? Anyone with emphysema, you know, like that, that's where you go ahead and you want to use the A. Okay? Yeah.
Should I wait until the test result before I get the vitamin? I know I need it like you got.
Yeah, no. Go ahead. We tested you earlier today, so you just take it. Go get it. Everything you get, it's good for you. It's whatever you felt called to get. Listen to that inner voice, and do whatever you feel. If you want, I'll even test you on the next visit for the exact proper amounts of what would be best for you. Okay? You know, and you know, I'll do for you if you want to do an organ and tissue scan. Just if you make an appointment for the organ and tissue scan today, then if there's anything else you need extra on top of it, I'll also give you the 15% off. Okay?